and we are on day 2140. 2140 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. Why? Because he was a whistleblower, and he was um, reporting um, criminal trafficking, the sexual criminal trafficking, and also the Fort Bliss military involvement in the orchestration and the staging bloody Walmart mass shooting that was used, weaponized against President Trump to interfere with the 2020 election. Um, at the time, he was running against Beto O'Rourke, and Beto O'Rourke was instrumental in developing, framing the false narrative to attack President Trump, weaponizing the bloody Walmart mass shooting. That was orchestrated, and also so much is happening today, y'all. So much is happening. The phone is just ringing off the hook, as you know, because of course we have breaking news, but we have to get through what happened with Richard at the beginning of every video so that everybody understands that it was an act of war, what they did to our U.S. Army soldier. I happen to be his mother, so it's a double whammy, a double whammy, triple whammy. What they did to him was absolutely an act of war against our family and against the United States. So, but we have reports today that there were raids in El Paso and Las Cruces area, and dozens of people arrested and being processed, and that there was leadership. It's a lot of action going on. And so, and I know it's about these. Hold on, let me check everything. Okay. So, we're going to get more and more information about the FBI raids that happened in El Paso and Las Cruces. These are subterranean tunnels that they raided, also warehouses, or they were processing all of the captured individuals in the warehouses. And I will get more and more information to share with everybody. But this is huge because what is being reported is that the authorities were part of the trafficking operation. So they're in trouble, and we know who the authorities are talking about. They're talking about the El Paso Cartel. They're talking about the El Paso Cartel in alliance with the El Chapo fentanyl governor Maru Campos, with the CJNG, with the La Linea, with the Juarez Cartel, that have infiltrated our agencies and our DA's office and our federal prosecutor's office, and also the courthouse, infiltrated the courthouse. We have the magistrate court, the El Paso magistrate court, that is not even legal. They're not even legal because, and I'll tell you why. That sounds so outlandish, but it happened. They did it under our nose. In 2015, that court was changed. It was changed from partial jurisdiction of El Paso County to full jurisdiction of El Paso County. And when that happened, it triggered a law in the Texas Constitution, but it was ignored. It was ignored. And what was that law? That if you are a judge that serves on a court that has full countywide jurisdiction, you must be elected. You must be elected by the people. Well, the El Paso Magistrate Court, Criminal Law Magistrate Court, is a full countywide jurisdiction bench, and and they are not elected. They're not elected, so they are really void. They're void. It's botched. They're fake. They're fraud. They're not judges because they're not following the requirements that our law requires in the Texas Constitution. And so they are, really violating the county, the people of the county, their right to vote for who judges over them. And so, and I know because the United States, we have it too good. We just have it so good that I just voted Tuesday. There wasn't so many people there, right? The vote turnout, because people are busy, is sometimes can be very low. And then even the choices that we get, they're most of the time, I think it's like 70% of the time, close to that anyway, that there is not even competition. It's just one person on the ballot. So we do have, um, to educate all of ourselves in how important it is, the right to vote, and how serious it is, and how we should absolutely participate in it. And people say, oh, it's not even worth voting. Well, what are they? Are they infiltrators? Are they cartel? Are they up to no good? Because the right to vote is so precious. It's so precious, and it is, uh, it is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And the more people that vote, I think that's how President Trump won. He made it too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. So it's very important that there's not interference with our elections, that we do go out and vote, and that we follow the laws, the simple law of, if you're a countywide jurisdiction bench seat in the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, then get ready. You have to campaign, and you have to get the people to vote for you. So, and they've been violating that for over 10 years. Over 10 years, all those cases. Really, anyone that has gone through that court can say that their court case was botched, and they would be right. They would be right. So these raids, what we know about the raids is that the authorities are being looked at. It's not just the people that were being trafficked, that were trying to come into the country illegally, which really puts them at a disadvantage. It makes them very vulnerable to extortionists, right? People that want to extort things from them, including sexual favors or just demanding, because we know that with the Seraldi case where here he is, a lawyer, and Montoya protected him, but he demanded sex from these very vulnerable individuals that were trying to come into the country, that were in the country illegally. And so it just leads to, um, uh, really like a slavery. I would call it a slavery. I would call it, a real disadvantage to, uh, as far as being targeted by criminals. So, that's why I'm very against uh, these open borders and illegal entry into the country, because we have legal entry. And because we have legal entry, that means whoever is illegal is vulnerable, very, very vulnerable to extortionists and people that want to blackmail and worse things and worse things. So let's see. I want to make sure that everything is working and okay, and I'm on. And so I wanted to play a video for you today. And this is of Nadal Baim. I think this is really important because of the posts that I've been putting up on our Facebook, well, on the internet, because it's more places on the internet, so that people understand the history of who Nadal Baim is. We were living in El Paso when all of this happened with Richard, and we knew that something was really stinky. And I would say that all the time. It was stinky, it was fishy, something doesn't smell right. And I was talking about the authorities, and I was talking about Richard's chain of command, that they were very stinky. Um, and uh, and when we were there, we received we were rallying like 4 to 6 times a week and handing out flyers, putting out flyers everywhere, taping them up everywhere, talking with people every day, all day long, and making ourselves very available on the corners of the streets in El Paso, different areas of the city, and even going over to Juarez and making ourselves available there and putting out flyers over there. We had Spanish flyers and English flyers. And so, we we made a lot of friends. We made a lot of friends. And a a person that received our flyers and put them up on the door, and you can see it right here where my cursor is. That's a flyer of Richard, and that they put it right there on the in the center of the door. How sweet of them! That was so nice. We met in downtown El Paso, and they took flyers. They asked to, can they have extra flyers? They'll put it at the door of these Dollar Generals, and there was more than this one. Okay, so and Nadal Baim is a Palestinian arms dealer that impersonated an FBI agent here. And this is a CCTV footage that we received, less than an hour after he had come into the store. And he of course is the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado of the G3. That's operations, y'all. That's operations of the 32nd AgCom. That's Richard's command. And he also is family with the cartel. We know that. And he's also family, it seems like family, I don't know, just very, very close to Matthew Engelbaum, and he's an AUSA now. At the time, he was in the DA's office with his wife, Frances Maldonado, and you know, they're her brother, Michael Maldonado, is very intimately close to Baim's daughter. But we didn't know who he was when this all happened, and we asked and we turned this all into the authorities, including the FBI, including CID, including Richard's command, and of course, like many others. And we wanted to know who this person is, and they told us it was a nobody. It was a nobody. We even had a special meeting at Fort Eustis about this video, and they told us it was a nobody. Um, and of course, he is someone really, really big because he's also connected to the El Paso cartel hierarchy. So, and he is also very connected to the Strait of Hormuz, um, Kuwait. Uh, he tried to flee just recently to Kuwait with $44,000 um, of stolen money. We know that because he's being sued and it's in the court case. He has a record for terroristic threats. Um, just a lot of he infiltrated to the highest level of the El Paso cartel, which is into the law enforcement and judicial system in the United States, and I mean in El Paso, and they told us he was just a nobody. So let's watch this video that we received on the day, October 26, 2020.
Let me keep going.
Yeah, he's looking at it, yeah.
Oh, there he is, looking at her. I'm telling her.
So, this is a cut version of it. He was at the cashier, and I just tried to leave the cashier off. That's why I focused in just on him. And just so that you know that he spoke with his hands a lot, and I did post up her testimony because her witness testimony was also recorded that same less than an hour after it happened. So it was very fresh, and she told us everything. And I think that that video really has saved her life because we turned it in and they knew that that video existed. They knew that the video of Nadal Beam existed, and that that was hard evidence. That was hard evidence. So, because a lot of times they'll just go after the whistleblower if there's not hard evidence. They'll tamper with the files, and but they couldn't tamper with this because we put it out on Facebook. We put it out on we had it on TikTok before TikTok took us down, but we had we just had, and now I did join again, but yeah, things are going so fast, and well, maybe one day we'll be back up on there. um so yeah, this is just jaw-dropping when you see the entirety of the video, and it just goes right with her story, because her testimony, because we recorded her testimony before we received the CCTV footage, and it was just like she really deserves a huge reward, and we're working very hard for that for her. Um, So I want to do another video.
Oh yeah, James Montoya, Mr. Big Lies. You hid your name to capitalize. Oh yeah, Montoya, a fraud from the start. Fake notary seal and tampered chart. Sold your oath for cartel gold. Now El Paso knows the lies you told. You're a fake, a fraud, a liar in a suit, and the ghost of Richard Halliday's coming for you. You see, he didn't just run for office. He ran a con. He didn't just drop a name. He dropped the truth. He needed a Mexican name, Montoya for the vote. His campaign promise was fake too. Death for Cruces, that's the vow he told you. But a plea deal was made with his hand. He's a liar at the cartel's command. You're a fake and a fraud, serving the FTOs, trafficking lies across border roads. James Montoya, liar in a suit, and the ghost of Richard Halliday's coming for you. Oh yeah, Montoya, got ears like satellite dishes, but still can't hear the people screaming fake loud and clear. This ain't politics. This is a cartel network. This is an FDO. Ya basta. The people see clear. Your eyes saw the big gig, not the victim's tears. Justice for Richard Halliday. Fight, 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 fight. Expose this fake DA hiding in plain sight. Oh yeah, Montoya filled now with a 2028 date. Ni madre sin. It's a system rot from the cartel within. Fraudulent forms, fake notary applied. He's illegally sitting, should be indicted, tried. You can't fight for the slain with a DA this fake. They're laundering justice for the cartel's sake. The truth's in the timestamps, the crime's in the redactions. And if the DA's the problem, then the solution, federal action. Esto no se queda así.
Because I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference. Big difference.
Okay, so, and I wanted to play that because, you know, when James Bonneau Montoya, who's a total fake, you know, and he gets in front of the cameras and he speaks about the Walmart mass shooting, and he was saying, oh, we need the death penalty during his campaign and everything like that. And here he is supporting Francis Maldonado, who is, you know, Patsy Fingers, you know, at barbecues with the Bain family, right? And also, you know, in the DA's office, they absolutely knew who Bain was. She worked in the DA's office with James Montoya, with Michael Mayella of the Walmart mass shooting. So these are absolutely El Paso cartel operatives. It is infiltrated in our DA's office. And of course, her husband, Matthew, is, you know, leaking because he was in the DA's office also, and then went to, with Jaime Esparza, to the AUSA, the federal prosecutor's office. And we know, evidence confirms that he is leaking to Montoya case details and information, federal case details and information, which is so criminal. And also participating in his and his wife's campaign to be a judge, which is a no-no for someone that is a U.S. attorney, a federal prosecutor. You can't do it, just like when you're in the military. You can't participate with the politics. He can't either, but he did. And so uh, these are just the worst criminals, and they don't care about the law, and yet that's supposed to be their business, and they are supposed to have courage. We've given them everything so that they can have courage to defend the law, right, the Constitution, and keep it and make sure it's kept. And yet they act and like they have disdain for our Constitution and our laws, that they're above it, or they are, under the El Paso Cartel statehood, or whatever they're trying to do with that. It's always seems like a coup, that they want to take over Mexico City, that they want to take over Washington. It always seems like a coup when you look at all of their activities, when you're looking at all their activities, with the mini Pentagon, with the treasonous treaty, with the Torres Centella um, platform, the platform of it, which is a grid, the surveillance cameras, the drone cameras, the drone surveillance, the access to federal case databases, the access to visas and licenses and all of that, and not even abiding by licenses either. So just they need a license so they can get their bank accounts, so that they can buy their property, their ranches, their houses, their cars. So yeah, and that's why we know for sure that today's raid, that was reported, that the El Paso authorities were in on it as far as the criminal trafficking goes, that the raid focused on them also. Um, eh, that is absolutely what we have been saying. What we have been saying, that they're compromised at the highest levels, and that they are participating in the criminal trafficking business. Um, weapons, be it children, be it ammo, be it car parts. They're trafficking, and at oil, we know that they're trafficking oil. That's a big one. That is a huge one. And even President Trump came out today. Um, I guess he's really working very hard to keep the price as down, while others that are trying to sabotage his administration want to inflate the fuel costs. Um, but it seems like he's at least uh, put somewhat of a halt on it. We're not paying like $8-9 a gallon, or $20 a gallon. So yeah, there is an effort to sabotage everything he's doing. I mean, even fixing up our nation's capital. And there's people in El Paso that don't want a Poison Ponds 2.0. They don't want a Julio Cordero to come in, a decorated FBI agent, to raid them and do the Poison Ponds. So this is what is going on right now. They're raiding, and they're pointing at the authorities that let the trafficking happen, let the crime happen. And so we are just really keeping an eye on this. We don't want to get too giddy, because it would be such a great feeling to get these criminals off the street. But we're just keeping a close eye on this, and we will keep you updated. So thank you for coming on, Laura. Thank you for weird how TikTok, lots of influences talk about their illicit connections, yet your page that talks about, yeah, it gets banned. Yeah. And I was doing very well on there. We were getting, really big numbers for the short time that we were on there. And but infiltrators from the El Paso cartel, they would come on and report they would do strikes against us. Yeah, they're just they're afraid of the truth getting out, but the truth is getting out now, and now we have FBI raids. So yeah, it's good news that's happening. Very good news. So thank you, everybody. God bless you, and I will be back